Hello, welcome to Roussel Reads. I'm Deja, and today we are going to do 2025 book releases by Black authors for the first half of 2025. Just a few weeks ago, I was actually having trouble finding books that I'm anticipating, and it was kind of disappointing, especially because I do focus on Black authors, because a lot of the lists that I see don't really include a lot of Black authors, unfortunately, and that is primarily what I read. So I was having a hard time finding some, but after some extensive research, I have found 17 that I am anticipating for the first half of the year, and there are definitely a lot more that are going to be announced probably in early next year that might be released in the later half of the year. So, without further ado, because I have a lot of books to talk about, I'm going to go ahead and get into this video. The first three books that I have are actually books that don't have a release date, but they are going to be releasing in 2025, and they have been said to be probably releasing in the first half, at least for two of them. Not exactly sure about the third one, but these have no date, but they say that they're coming out in 2025. The first one is The Year of the Mer by L.D. Lewis. I read A Ruin of Shadows by this author earlier this year, and I absolutely loved it. One of my favorite assassin stories ever, and it was crazy because it was in such a short amount of time, and I just love that story so much. And so this one, The Year of the Mer, is a Little Mermaid retelling, but it takes place 2 generations after The Little Mermaid, and it's like a sapphic love story, but it's not a romanticy or anything, but it has like these darker elements like gods and mer people, and I am just very excited to see what this author does with this story, and I honestly cannot wait. The next one is also by L.D. Lewis, and this is called The Dead Withheld, and this is going to be a novella. I'm not exactly sure what this one is about because this was actually part of a novella series that I think Neon Hemlock is going to be releasing next year. They have multiple books by multiple authors that they're going to be releasing next year, but I decided to spotlight this one because, like I said, I read L.D. Lewis's novella earlier this year, and I'm just very excited. I don't care what they write, like, I'm going to read it. The third one that I have to talk about is also a novella, and this one is by C.M. Lockhart. She has been referring to it as The Lady Widow, and this is a space story following a woman who is grieving the loss of her husband, and I feel like she's hunting down the person that killed him. So I'm very excited for this. I definitely want a lot more like Black space fantasy kind of stories. Like, I just need more of them in my life, and so I'm very excited to try out this novella by C.M. Lockhart. The next one that I have is The Queen's Spade by Sarah Raleigh, and this one is a historical thriller. I'm very interested because it said it's like Bridgerton but with like revenge and stuff, and I'm very intrigued. It seems like she's going to be like taking down like the monarchy or something in London, and yeah, I am definitely in my revenge bag, which I think you'll see as I continue talking about like the books that I am excited for. The next one that I have is releasing in January, and this one is At the Fount of Creation. This is the sequel to In the Shadow of the Fall, which I still have not read yet, but I'm still very excited for this sequel because it is a duology, so I'm feeling like if I really like the first one, the second one will already be out by the end of January, and this one is following a story of the Orishas, and I just really like anything with like gods and like magic and stuff. But I am just very excited to hopefully dive into this one as soon as it releases, if I can get the first one like read. Moving on to February, we have 2 books that are going to be releasing. The first one is Harlem Rhapsody, and this is a historical fiction that is following a woman during the Harlem Renaissance, and I'm very fascinated because it is following this woman who's working with all these like literary figures, and I'm just very curious as to like how that's going to go. I'm not exactly sure what the plot is, but just like the fact that she's working with all of these literary figures during the Harlem Renaissance has me very intrigued. And then the next book that is releasing in February is the Magic and Melanin Anthology, and this is a collection of Black fantasy stories that are by Black authors. And so I'm just excited to just discover more Black fantasy authors because I feel like I've been having a hard time finding some. So I'm excited to see if I can discover some new authors in this anthology that I really vibe with so I can check out their backlist if they have one. The next one that I have releases in March, and this is Dream Count by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. And this one, I'm not exactly sure what it's about. Like, I feel like it's probably going to have like her signature character driven, like slow paced, beautiful writing. And I'm just ready to be back into the writing of this author. Like, it's been so long since we've gotten a book by this author. So, very excited to see what this story is about and just be immersed in her worlds again. The next one that I have is Where Shadows Fall by Patrice Caldwell. This one is a romantasy, I believe, that has vampires in it, and I love anything vampires pretty much. And this one also feels like it's going to give me like those angsty vibes because there's like this theme of like sacrificing for love, and then there's going to be like gods in this and just war, and I'm just so ready for this. I actually have an arc of this, so I am very excited to dive into this one. The next one that I have is A Song of Legends Lost, and this is giving me adult epic fantasy. This one is another revenge and rebellion story that has magic to do with like the ancestors, and there's going to be like war and stuff, and I'm not exactly sure what the plot is going to be, but I'm excited to just dive into this one because, like I said, I want more adult Black epic fantasy, and I'm hoping that this is just as amazing as I hope that it could be. And then I have Somadina by Akwaeke and Emezi, and this one I have like mixed thoughts about because I have mixed feelings with Akwaeke and Emezi's work. I did really like Pet, which is why I'm kind of excited for this one because this is another like children's young adult like novel. So I'm hoping that the vibes that I really got from Pet and why I like that will be in this one because this is following a teen girl trying to find her missing twin while also navigating just the new powers that she has. So I'm intrigued to see what the story is going to give me, but I'm also hesitantly like anticipating it just because I'm not exactly sure where I'll land on this book by this author. And then I have A Legend in the Sky by Faye Oleander. And this one is an indie book that is expected to release in April, I believe. And this one is a Mesopotamia-inspired fantasy world. That's pretty much all I know about this one. The author has been saying that it's not romantasy, even though it has like themes of like love and like all of that with like a subplot. So I'm intrigued to see where the story is going to go. I don't think that the characters will have a happy ending because of just things that she's posted on threads and stuff. But I'm intrigued with like the setting. But yeah, this one I'm intrigued by, so I will put it on this list. The next one is by Suyi, Davies, Okungbowa, and this book is The Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda. And this one, I have never really read any of like the Marvel or Disney like things that they pay authors to come write for them, but this one I'm intrigued by. One, because of course I love Black Panther, and two, I really love how this author really incorporates like just like his Nigerian culture into the speculative books that he writes, and I feel like this would just be a perfect blend of things that I like: Black Panther and C. Davies Okungbowa's like world building skills when it comes to like incorporating those cultural elements. So I don't know what this is about, but because of those two pairings, that's why I'm excited for this one. And then we have A Mastery of Monsters by LaSalle Stanbury. I really think that LaSalle Stanbury is a great writer, and this one is going to be a dark academia, which I really think will be very good for like the kind of writing style that she has. Like, she does have these like subtle like creepiness element, and this girl is also trying to find her missing brother, I guess, and has to infiltrate a secret society of monsters. So I'm intrigued. I have a love-hate relationship with dark academia. I don't really like reading about school, but because of LaSalle Stanberry, I will try this out. And then I have S.A. Cosby's King of Ashes. Like his other books, this one seems like it's going to give me those interesting family dynamics and, of course, the criminal aspect side of like the thrillers that he writes. So yeah, I'm excited to try this one out. And then in June, we have Plus Size Player by Danielle Allen. This will be the sequel to Curvy Girl Summer, and I really enjoyed Curvy Girl Summer. Like, I had an absolute great time. This one is following the friend of the character in the first book, and while I'm not really that like intrigued by the friend's story and her finding her love story, like I did have a really good time reading the first one, so I'm willing to check out the sequel for Curvy Girl Summer. And then last but not least, I have Whispers of the Lake by Shanora Williams. This one is releasing in the end of June, I believe. And this one I am excited for because Shanora Williams is becoming like a very auto-read author for me. She has a very simplistic like writing style, and I just fly through all of her books. And some of the books can get like kind of dark, and sometimes her narrative style is like not the best, I guess, for me, but I really am intrigued by like just like the drama that she includes, like the thriller elements that she includes, and this one is no different. This one has like a marriage on the rocks, it has a missing friend, and I think some other elements, but it's taking place in North Carolina at like a lakefront cottage, and it's a psychological thriller. So I'm intrigued to see where the story is going to go. Like I said, I'm pretty much reading anything in the thriller mystery realm by Shanora Williams because, yeah, I am just very excited. But that wraps up all of the books that I'm excited for the first half of 2025. I know there are a lot more books that are coming out, so definitely let me know in the comments if there are any that you are excited for, because of course you can never have too many books to add to your TBR. But if you don't want to do that, you can always just leave like a water emoji, I guess, for the Whispers of the Lake that I just talked about. I thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!